G'day guys, I'm Benji and you're watching Built by Benji. Welcome back for part 2 of this enclosure build. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's just get straight into the video. Alright guys, so now I will find centre of the overall width. I'll put a mark, just because I like everything to line up nicely. That centre mark will line up with that groove right there. I'll also transfer the edge of the rebate down onto the bottom half of the frame, so when I've got my panel in I can see where I've got to cut it. I'll also mark out the other end, just so it's all lined up nice and straight. Now I've got my marks done, I can work out roughly how many boards I need. Now it's time to measure the length, so I can go and cut them. Got a rough number how many I need, I'll cut an extra 1 or 2, just so I can get my little rip cuts. Now because this is my back paneling, I may or may not have a background in this enclosure, so just sort through your timbers, look for the nicest piece of timbers to use. Just in case you don't have a background going in. Remember guys, don't forget the trim cut, and because you're cutting all the same size, make the use of your stop block. Now I've got all my timbers for my back cut out. I've sanded the inside face of them. I can start running some glue around the edge of my rebate. I'll just start with the center one first, just so I can line everything up. Now I've got my centre board nailed and glued in, I can work out what I've got to cut off the edges. So all I'm doing here is transferring the line that I transferred from the rebate before up onto this backboard timber that I need to cut down. Now I've marked my timbers, I can cut them down to suit. When I've cut these, I'll put a small 45 on the end of each corner, just to help make a radius corner. Now I've got all my boards cut, I can run a bead of glue right around the rest of the rebate and glue the rest of my backing boards in and nail them off. When gluing boards together, I'll run a bead on the back edge of the tongue and groove, just so that the boards are glued right through. Stops any movement down the track. So while the backboards are drying, we'll just quickly run the biscuit into the top and the base, getting ready for assembly. So this step, I'm just squaring off the corners from my rebate where I hit it with the router, because it's left a radius there. I need to square these corners up for my glass. So this is the front panel. So I'm just marking them out with my adjustable square, and then I will attack them with a sharp chisel and mallet. So as you can see, now I've got a nice square corner instead of the original radius corner. Now just got to repeat the same process to the other end. Now it's assembly time, and as you can see, not just audio issues I'm having, but apparently my GoPro is having a moment too. Alright, now we've got our tops and bottoms and our sides for our doors cut out. We've got to get on the table saw and create a channel by checking out the mark section there, just so that our timber panels can slot inside the doors, look nice and neat. Here I'm just ripping down some 19mm timber by about 4mm thick. These are just to create the straps that go down the outside of the doors to cover the grooves. The reason I'm doing this at this point is because that is going to be the thickness of the wall on my channel. Now we've got everything set up for running our channels out of our material. It is important to remember, run every piece of timber through and then rotate it 180 degrees and rotate it through again before you change the saw guide, just to keep all cuts within the channel you're making the same width. Now I've got all our channels cut out for our panelling to slide inside our doors, like so. That's what the finished product should look like. Once again, we'll mark the centre of our bottom rail and our top rail, so that the V lines up and it's centralised to the door. Now I can go measure the heights of the timber that we need to cut for our boards. Now I'm taking about 6mm off the height, overall tight size, just so we've got movement to adjust the door if it's out of square. Now we've worked out roughly how many boards we need cut for each door. Clip the 3 panels together. Work out the center of your bottom rail and top rail. Put a little mark and line that little mark up with the center groove on the center board, so everything is central. Once you've got your center line marked, you can then mark the edges that need to be trimmed off, remembering to allow at least 3 mm side clearance, just so if the door's out of square we've got movement in the outer frame. Okay, I'm going to start assembling the door panels now. We'll sit the timbers hard down into the bottom rail so there's no movement there, and we'll drive a few nails plus glue in through the bottoms. These nails will just help hold everything central while we're trying to get the rest of the door put together. Also, like the backboard, we'll run a bead of glue down the inside of the groove for the tongue and groove as well.